This is Fox 8 Overtime, sponsored by the 2018 Nissan Titan, backed by America's best limited truck warranty.
Welcome into Fox 8 Overtime, because that's what we do on a Tuesday. I'm Juan Kincaid, and by we, I mean me mates, Garland Gillen, Chris Hagan, Sean Bazan. We're coming off a weekend in which a bunch of our local teams had big wins. Which team had the biggest, do you think?
I think LSU did, not just because Ole Miss, they crushed them, but no turnovers for Joe Burrow in 5 games now. That's impressive that a quarterback that wasn't here into the summer, 5 games in, no interceptions, had a rushing touchdown that was really impressive. I'm in with LSU.
I'll say Tulane. I think given the fact that they were 14.5-point dogs and they really ran the ball right down Memphis's throat, it's a statement win for them right now.
I'm going to agree with Hagan. I think Tulane, I've been tough on them, and they needed that win. They got that win. I think you saw the relief on Willie Fritz's face after that game.
I agree with you, Tulane, because no one saw that win coming. Let's get you right to the headlines and the big board on this show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Here's what's on the ledger. Running backs returning. Joe Burrow's steady improvement at LSU's quarterback transfer. Culture. Tulane makes waves against Memphis. A lot to get to here. We're going to get started, though, back at the top with the running backs returning. 2 guys that haven't played in the Dome since last season. First, Mark Ingram for the Saints. Saints have done well without him, but are they a more complete team with him? Will Ingram's return diminish Taysom Hill's touches? Sean, I'm going to let you start with that, because I know you like some Taysom Hill.
I like Taysom Hill.
I
like how they sprinkle him in. Yeah. First off, yes, Mark Ingram does make this team more complete. He'll add a power run game element, a ball control element to this offense. Although Alvin Kamara has done well, I think certainly he brings a different style, and I think you'll see Alvin Kamara's snaps go down a little bit. He went from 84% to maybe about 50% of the snaps. And the Taysom Hill situation is interesting. Will he get less carries? Maybe. He had 15 snaps last week. I think that's the max for him in this offense. So, and if Taysom Hill is in the game, running that zone read, I got to believe it's got to be Alvin Kamara as his back, not Mark Ingram. Ingram hasn't done that in a long time, but Kamara's pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, I certainly think Ingram brings a different dynamic to not only the run game, but he brings emotion. You see Ingram run angry so much of the time. He's an angry runner. The team feeds off that. They feed off of the way he gets into it, and so I think that'll be a big boost for him. Certainly, I do think it takes away some of Taysom's touches. You know, one thing that stood out to me was maybe Taysom taking some of those carries in whatever formation it may be was just another way to take just a touch or 2 away from Alvin Kamara and lighten his load a little bit. So I think it does affect that. But I think Ingram does make them a complete team. And let's not act like Ingram is just this one-trick pony. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, the great thing about when Kamara or Ingram is in the game is you still can't predict the play call too much, because the Saints like to do a lot of different things with both of them.
Mark Ingram is ready to roll. I can't believe he went to the airport after the game on Sunday, man. He was ready to get back in the building on Monday. 4 games he didn't play, nice and fresh, and this is a contract year. He is ready to ball out. You know the one thing I really miss, and I'm ready for possibly next Monday night? The joint press conference in the locker room with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. That was one of my favorite things last year. It was hysterical that they're holding a press conference at their lockers last season.
This kind of reminds me of when they had Adrian Peterson. We'll get to him in a second. Last year, you only have 1 football, and you only have so many carries in this offense. I think Taysom Hill gets squeezed out a little bit. He doesn't have the 15 touches, in my opinion. He may go down to like 7 or 8 because those extra touches may go to Ingram. But either way, this is a huge win for this football team that has done well without Ingram for the first 4 games, averaging 34 points a game. It should only be getting better from that point on. And then there's, of course, the Adrian Peterson thing for Washington in 2017. 4 games with New Orleans, 7 carries per game, 3 yards per carry. 2017, 6 games with Arizona, 22 carries per game, 3.5 yards per carry. 2018, 3 games in Washington, 19 carries per game. He's getting the touches and 4.2 yards. We always said it last year when he was here. It was a great show. We wanted to see him do well. But again, it was about getting opportunities for him. He wasn't going to get 19 touches in a game here. It just wasn't going to happen.
Was not going to
happen. And Ingram.
Was not going to happen. And this, to me, is going to be an overblown storyline, just like Sean Payton said earlier today in his teleconference. The truth of the matter is this. The Saints offense got better when they traded Adrian Peterson last year. It unlocked Alvin Kamara, and away they went. So Adrian Peterson returning, feels like there's good vibes between both sides. I don't know if it was a bad divorce or anything. He was only here for 4 games. So I think it's going to be an overblown storyline. I think whatever happens in this game, the Saints are just fine without Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think it's just for Peterson, it was a matter of finding the right fit and finding the team that could feed him. Obviously, the Saints got better. Obviously, Peterson got healthier a little bit over the offseason. He wasn't able to go too many games in Arizona last year, and he looks a lot more refreshed in Washington. We'll just have to see how long that lasts. Certainly, Washington was a team in need for him after Darius Geis went down and really having not much left in their backfield. So I'm happy for Peterson that he's found the right fit there, but certainly this Saints team has found much more balance without him. They always have a way of giving Ingram or Kamara the right touch at the right time. Obviously, they were both able to produce with around 13 to 19 touches each last year.
You were talking about the benefit that Alvin Kamara got from Peterson not being here. That's still hypothetical, Garland.
Oh.
If Peterson is here last year,
okay,
what do we get from Kamara? What do we not see from Kamara that we know now?
A lot less carries last year. A lot less fantasy points. I know Chris Hagan, our fantasy expert, will tell you that.
That's very true.
It was a perfect move getting him over to Arizona. You're right. We wouldn't have seen the same Alvin Kamara as we did last season. We'd have probably seen less press conferences in the locker room with Alvin Kamara marking last year. Sean Payton did the right move. It worked out for everybody involved. Yeah. It was a smart move. The Saints had no idea when they signed Adrian Peterson the offseason last year that Kamara was going to blow up the way he did. I mean, he wasn't even getting all the touches when he was at Tennessee. He wasn't getting those at Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, Tennessee fans are still mad to this day that Butch Jones didn't use Kamara as much at Tennessee. And, of course, Butch Jones got fired after that.
And I think one thing with Adrian Peterson was last year, it felt like the Saints were just forcing him the ball, giving him carries to give him carries when they didn't necessarily fit. Whereas, like I said earlier, it felt like Kamara and Ingram, there was a purpose and there was a plan for each one of their touches, and it just felt like wasted carries with Peterson not getting anyone else into a rhythm.
I think eventually Sean Payton, who fell in love with Kamara, would have eventually started him at some point, and it would have ended with the season of Adrian Peterson basically being on the bench. So they did something for him. It was a great move all the way around.
Peterson basically got a chance to give other NFL teams a look to say he can still play. Hey, 4 weeks into the season, there have been some surprises. Which team has surprised you the most? And we're going to throw up a full screen, the video here. You see, you got the Chiefs that won last night, a big win by them in Denver. They're 4-0. You've got the Bengals 3-1, Bears 3-1, Eagles 2-2 defending champs, and the Vikings 1-2-1. Who surprised you guys the most so far in this first 4 weeks?
I guess I'll go first. I'm going to go with the Bears. Okay. Because I wasn't sure about Mitchell Trubisky. His rookie year was kind of so-so, but we saw what he did on Sunday. Remember, Kansas City started 5-0 last year, and I know everyone's got Mahomes mania right now, but still, they've done this before. So they got the Bears got Khalil Mack in the big trade. Trubisky starting to find himself a little bit. I'm going to go with the Bears because I think they have a formula for success up in Chicago.
Yeah, I think, Sean, you took the words right out of my mouth there. Kansas City, not a surprise. Granted, it's impressive to be 4-0 right now. This is what they tend to do, and eventually they'll probably hit a wall. I'd say the Vikings starting 1-2-1 has surprised me the most.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a tough schedule. You play the Packers, you play the Rams on the road in your first 4 games. Those are 2 games that you could pick as a loss, but the loss to the Bills at home.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah, that was a very shocking loss to a rookie quarterback and a depleted backfield with LaShawn McCoy out. You know, if you're the Vikings, you've got to be asking yourself some questions because you get Dalvin Cook back. You go out and invest a lot of money in Kirk Cousins. You've got an offensive line that performed well last year that you built up. The running game has been non-existent. Yes, Kirk Cousins was able to sling the ball over the field on a short week against the Rams, but still you'd expect more out of that defense. Certainly they're missing the pass rush from Everson Griffin, but the secondary that features Xavier Rhodes and then a Harrison Smith, who's regarded as one of the best safeties in the league, absolutely shredded by all 3 Rams receivers and Todd Gurley. So that's got to be a huge disappointment.
Stupid Vikings knocked me out of my fantasy, but that's another story.
Tough, bro.
Garland, what do you think about this?
One, you didn't have them up there, but I'm going to go with the Falcons at 1-3.
Okay.
Their defense is disgraceful right now, and I know they have a ton of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They lose this weekend at 1-4. That's going to be really hard to recover to make the playoffs. I don't know if the Falcons make the playoffs. If you ask me right now, I don't think they're one of the 6 teams that makes it right now. That defense is got a lot of work to do. Matt Ryan on offense is looking good, but they got beat by the Bengals at home. You don't lose home games with NFC South. Still a lot of NFC South games left to play. That's who my surprise is.
Saints certainly understand having a great offense and your defense is giving up 30 points. Hey, we'll have much more Saints talk Wednesday night on Game Plan as we get you ready for Washington's 2nd straight season traveling to New Orleans. But come Thursday night, the Colts and Patriots will try and follow up on a great Rams-Vikings game we saw last week. Coverage begins at 6:30 here on Fox 8. Coming up on this show, what can Burrow do for LSU? The Tigers signal caller has 2 SEC Offensive Player of the Week honors under his belt and is making strides each week. We'll look at the role he'll play as Ed Ogeron's team enters a gauntlet of games. And the ever-changing college football landscape is full of transfers at the quarterback position. Is this inevitable? And which programs are using it the best?
...2018 Nissan Titan, backed by America's best limited truck warranty.
Welcome back into overtime. LSU's off to an impressive 5-0 start. Quarterback Joe Burrow, he's been very good, but are we giving him too much, too little, or just enough credit for how well the Tigers have played so far?
I think we're giving him just enough credit, and one thing that Ed Ogeron said that stood out to me was he could be even better as a runner. It's just the fact that they only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks right now, and he's kind of holding him back a little bit. But I think for the sake of the offense, if Ensminger could and wanted to, and if Ed Ogeron wanted to run him a little bit more, they could even be more effective. I think he's an effective runner. I think he brings a lot with that dynamic, and so everything he's been asked to do, he's done it well. He hasn't been too sloppy with the football outside of a couple of fumbles last week, and so yeah, right about enough credit. No Heisman Trophy, but we're not dogging him.
Yeah, completely agree. Not overrated, not underrated, right where he's supposed to be. He makes good decisions, and I said this in week 1. He always seems to make the correct football play on any given down. And when you do that, and you don't make as many mistakes, you have a pretty clean performance from your quarterback with that defense and the skill position players. This is what you have, and I just think overall, he's not just a game manager. He can make plays, but I think overall he's a very good decision maker, and that's what it really boils down to.
I think the days of Zach Mettenberger and pocket quarterbacks are over with at LSU with Steve Ensminger and Ed Ogeron in charge. Post-game reaction, Ed was so excited to talk about the possibility of design runs for the quarterback. I just think in the future, the pocket quarterback goes away. This is a dynamic thing that the LSU offense has not really had in a long time, since the Matt Mock days, where he had a running quarterback that could kill you with his feet and his arm. Burrow, perfect amount of credit right now. Like I said earlier in the show, no turnovers. I don't know if this is going to be the week, but that's insanely impressive to go 5 games without any turnovers. You know who else has no turnovers right now throwing the ball? Tua Tagovailoa. So, I'm not putting them in the same breath, but that's 2 impressive performances this season.
Can't give up extra possessions. Burrow's transfer and his arrival led to a couple of LSU quarterbacks leaving. Leaving for a better opportunity seems to be the way of college football right now, or is it? LSU's Miles Brennan, Alabama's Jalen Hurts staying put, Clemson's Kelly Bryant, the big name to leave recently. Like, I understand the kid wants to get a chance to play right away, and Kelly Bryant had a pretty good argument. He was playing well, wasn't playing bad, but the other quarterback was playing better, and he gets hurt in the first game after this whole transfer. What do y'all think? I mean, are players giving up on an opportunity to play where they start too soon?
I think the trend that I've seen, or that I've noticed, is that it's the type of quarterback that's going to transfer. I think the guy who wants to play in college, who will only play in college, who doesn't necessarily have the arm talent to be an NFL quarterback, is going to transfer because he wants to get his playing days done. He wants to be on the field now. A guy like Miles Brennan, maybe, or you've seen it in the past with someone like Matt Castle at USC. Guys who have that NFL potential, you want to be in the spot that can get you to the NFL with NFL talent around you. And I think if you're a pocket passer with that type of arm talent, you'll stay where you're at and hopefully take your game to the next level, not to be so worried about playing right now.
Look, I mean, Miles Brennan could have very easily transferred this offseason. He's not the starter. He was kind of the favorite to be the starter. It didn't happen. The Kelly Bryant situation is a little bit unique. I don't think they foresaw that coming whenever they inserted the new redshirt rule, but still, it's a reality in college football. LSU has benefited, and they've also lost from it, but still, I think it's just what it is in college football.
I think Miles Brennan, even he's going to redshirt this season. If he stays around for LSU, he can get 2 solid years as a starter. If he wants, Joe Burrow is going to be gone in 2 years. So I think it doesn't make any sense right now for Miles Brennan to transfer.
I think that's been part of the conversation with him as well. Coming up, we're keeping it collegiate as we go uptown, where Tulane beat an FBS opponent with a record above 500 for the 3rd time in Willie Fritz's tenure. Is this a defining moment for the Wade program or just a mirage? We'll discuss that next.
By America's best limited truck warranty.
Our final topic tonight, why not Tulane football? Because Tulane's coming off their biggest win of the season, taking care of business last Friday night against Memphis, 40-24, and they beat them in every way possible. But I asked the question, is this a sign of things to come from Tulane, or is this just a mirage, and next week against Cincinnati undefeated, it gets back to normal? What we're used to seeing.
We will find out. I do think this was a galvanizing moment. They desperately needed this victory. I've been very tough on them, as I mentioned at the top of the show. The start of the first 4 games was ugly, and I just felt like they were a little too casual about some, kind of playing to the moral victory card a little bit. They have explosive playmakers, as you've seen in these highlights, that can take it to the house on any given snap. Tulane needs to figure out a way to use that as an advantage, and I think they can compete in the American.
I think, yeah, I'm in between on it. I'm not going to say it's a mirage, because I do think if they lined up against Memphis again, they could beat them again. I don't know if it would be such a runaway victory, but I do think there is still something to prove out there for Tulane. We'll see this week at Cincinnati. It's just a matter of them not shooting themselves in the foot. No mistakes, and they're explosive playmakers, like Sean said, and they can be a pretty good football team.
I think they're back in the bowl hunt now. This win was big for them. I think they can beat.
It does put them back on track.
I think they can beat Tulsa. I think they can beat East Carolina, and they can beat SMU. And then the final game of the season, they host Navy. I think they'll be 5-6, and that's going to be the decider to get to 6-6. Wow. I did my homework. I checked it out.
That's okay. No, I like that. I like that. I'd like to see Tulane get to a bowl game this year after coming up a yard short last year. But I think Cincinnati's going to be a difficult game to win. They're undefeated. And there's going to be another game down the line here where Tulane should win, and they're not going to win. I really like Willie
they've
Fritz.
got to prove that they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot.
That's the
This
biggest
is like
thing.
the first game they really have played pretty mistake-free, so that's what we need to keep seeing for me to believe.
6 wins is a reasonable standard. It's a reasonable standard for them to reach.
Absolutely.
So to fall below that would be disappointing.
You're right. All of our local teams are on the road this weekend. Tulane will get the Saturday slate underway, 11 a.m. in Cincinnati. LSU in Florida, what a game that's going to be at 2:30 in the Swamp. Southeastern looks to keep their winning going at Incarnate Word. In the late slots, you've got the Colonels at Northwestern State and the Cajuns at Texas State. Southern, they're going to take a weekend off. Rest up a little bit. Up next, the high school football picture. It's coming into focus after some big showdowns. Plus, we each get one final say coming up on Overtime.
Truck warranty.
Time now to talk prep football. We're going to begin with our new Fox 8 Big 8 poll. At number 1, they've been there all year long, it seems like, Edna Carr. John Curtis at number 2 after the big win over Easton. John Eyre at 3. Terrebonne at number 4. They solidified that status by shutting out Hahnville. At number 5, Destrehan, followed by Lakeshore. Warren Easton drops to number 7 after a tough loss to Curtis. And then Jesuit coming in at 4-1 in number 8. They've got 4 straight wins since losing to Easton to start the season. Pretty good so far. And once again, we've got some big games in week number 6, beginning with Country Day in Newman. Both teams undefeated. Hello, Newman. So how about this matchup?
I'm really excited about this, and this is where I'll be on Friday night. This is our Fox 8 Football Friday game of the week. 2 fantastic offenses, 2 good quarterbacks in Justin Ibieta and Martin Butcher. Expect a lot of points in this game. I'm going to say right here, I think they got about 80 points in this game. It's going to be like a 40-35 game. I'm really excited about this one.
Wait, there's going to be no defense in this game? Is that what you're saying?
There's not going to be a lot of defense there. I mean, for Country Day, they got 9 guys that play both ways. So on defense, most of their offensive players play defense. So Newman's going to try to wear them down.
Going to be a lot of fun. Time now for everyone's favorite part of the show, our final save. Sean Vazan leads us off.
All right, raise your hand if you thought Steve Ensminger was a good hire for LSU. Yep, I did, and I got the receipts to prove it. There it is, back in January. You see the tweet right there. But hey, that's beside the point. On Saturday, Joe Burrow had his best day as a Tiger. A lot of that had to do with the play calling of Ensminger. I know because I went back and watched all 75 of LSU's offensive snaps. LSU fans want to see spread with 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. Well, they got it 47 times. Most are not in love with downhill power running, but the truth is, It's an effective part of their offense, and it worked Saturday. But it was the way Ensminger blended the two styles when calling the game that made it so effective. That's not an easy thing to do, but Ensminger did it. Offensive systems can only take you so far. For an OC, it's all about what you call on game day. Ensminger was superb Saturday, and once again proved his head coach made the right call when giving him the job.
My final say is on Earl Thomas, and I understand Juan has an opinion on it as well. His situation, breaking his leg while waiting and hoping for a bigger contract, is exactly why players hold out, and I don't blame them for it. It's why players in this league should be thankful for the Aaron Donalds, thankful for the Khalil Macks, thankful for the Le'Veon Bells, who's pushing his holdout probably as far as he feels comfortable with coming back after week 7. When one of them wins, everyone wins. More money for all. Because I always get a kick out of fans criticizing players for wanting more money when it's not your money. These contracts are not breaking the bank of NFL owners. Hopefully, Earl Thomas is paid for the safety he has been and still is with several interceptions this year, and not for his unfortunate injury.
Super Bowl quarterbacks Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Ben Roethlisberger are all in the autumn of their careers. So when they retire, will there be another NFL star at quarterback? Of course there will be. You know why? Because of Jared Goff and Pat Mahomes. Goff's Rams are undefeated, and the third-year quarterback has racked up 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns in 4 contests. Mahomes and the Chiefs are also undefeated, but the Texas Tech alum is doing what Flair not seen since Brett Favre. He has 14 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He can scramble, and he can hit players 30 yards down the field. Oh, and he can throw left-handed when needed, like last night against the Broncos.
He is pretty good. My final say is on lasting impressions, and the one that left the biggest lasting impression on me was the one-finger salute by Seattle safety Earl Thomas to his own sideline. Do I understand why he did it? Absolutely. Thomas wanted a big contract this summer because NFL careers don't last that long, and he probably deserved it. Do I condone what he did? Absolutely not, because kids watch and emulate their heroes, and guys like Thomas are heroes to many, especially in the great Northwest. Here's hoping the only thing Thomas's young fans want to emulate is how well and how hard he always plays the game. We hope he gets paid the right way. We shall see. We'll be right back after the same time tomorrow night for Game Plan, previewing the Saints Monday Nighter. That means Tailgate moves to prime time before the game, and then get your usual day after analysis on Black and Gold Review, Tuesday at 10:35. And don't forget a big Thursday Nighter this week on Fox 8, Patriots and Colts. Until then, for all these guys right here and everyone at Fox 8, thanks for watching. Our next newscast is at 4:30 in the morning. Have a great night.
This has been Fox 8 Overtime, sponsored by the 2018 Nissan Titan, backed by America's best limited truck warranty.